I was really looking forward to doing this junk journaling session because our prompt for today is Tuckspot, and I always really enjoy the interactive prompts when it comes to junk journaling because you get to be a little bit creative with how you use your supplies and the things that you add to your pages. So for the prompt of Tuckspot, which if you don't know what a Tuckspot is, it's essentially a little pocket almost that you can include extra bits and pieces in your journal, so like note cards or photos, things like that. But I kind of distinguish it from a pocket because it's oftentimes like you tuck like the corner of something in, so it's not necessarily fully in the pocket. So when I come to actually making something to go inside this tuck spot, I'll have it sort of peeking out, whereas if I put something in a pocket, to me that means I've put it fully inside the pocket. So it's all semantics, but that's kind of the differentiating part of it for me anyway. But obviously we all do whatever we want in our journals. There are no journal police, as I've said here before, so do whatever you want in your junk journals. But what I decided to do for this prompt would be to create my tuck spot by extending my page as well. So as you see, I have this brown piece of paper that I had for my page, and I was thinking about the different ways that I could use this page in particular because it's like a skinny page, and how I could include a tuck spot but without like taking up too much space because it was such a narrow page. So what I decided to do was I added this tag, and I laid it sort of overhanging on the right hand side, which extends the page to not quite the full width of the journal, but like, it makes it, near enough, almost like double the width. And I came in with just some hand stitching, and I stitched along the top and the bottom of the tag. So what this does is it just gives a nice detail effect apart from anything else, but it also makes a way for the tuck spot to form on the left hand side of the tag. So when I finish the stitching on the top and the bottom, what I also do is I add some washi tape to the reverse of the page as well, and that way then obviously anything that I tuck into the tag doesn't fall out on the other side of the page, but that way I've got a sort of detail on both sides of this page. So I sort of lent into, rather than thinking whatever I do to secure the tag I then have to cover up, I came in with some patterned washi tape, as you'll see in a bit, and I ended up getting completely distracted basically is what I'm trying to say, and I kind of pre-decorated the next page whilst I was also in the process of making this tag. But I really enjoy the process of adding these little stitched elements to my junk journals because you don't have to be perfect. You don't need to know how to use a sewing machine, which me and my sewing machine, we are not friends. It's just sort of in the corner of my studio gathering dust, if I'm completely honest, because I get a little bit overwhelmed every time it comes to actually pulling it out and using it in my journals. But I do really enjoy just the slow stitching anyway, because you get that imperfection and it adds a nice textural element to your journal, which you don't always get with other collage papers. So it's just a nice mixed media effect to add, and it's a really easy way as well to make something a little bit different on your journal pages. I think because this journal in particular, it's very like eclectic with all the different shapes and sizes of papers that I've got going on, that having this tag looking the way that it does almost enhances that and sort of really leans into the fact that nothing in this journal is perfect, and that's the way that I like it, and I'm really enjoying working in this. I think especially because it's such a small size as well, so if I was to add this tag to a larger journal, I would obviously have to factor in like working on what am I potentially going to put on the rest of the page, for example. However, with it almost basically taking up the entire height of the journal, I can just lean into the fact that the tag is going to be the focal point almost, and so I was able to focus all of my decorating and collaging for this page onto the tag itself. So I did add a few extra bits sort of on the brown paper, but mainly I left that and I really liked the contrast between the brown paper and the cream of the tag. And when it came to the collaging, I used a variety of different things. I used like a random sticker that you saw there, which was literally something that I just pulled off a parcel because it was a round brown sticker, and I thought I can probably use that in something. And it's just become a little bit of a background element in my collage, and I think it added a nice sort of contrast because I had that like brown paper and then the cream and then the brown again, so I think it kind of worked really nicely in that way. But you'll see here as I'm working out which rub-ons to include on the front and the back of this page that I end up getting distracted and almost doing a little bit of like a deco moment on the back here and a bit of a cluster of things. So I came in with like washi tape. These rub-ons, by the way, they are from Tapeology, and I just used a couple of the floral ones, but you can see I'm just going back and forth, so it'll be really interesting, I think, when it comes to working on the next page, because I've kind of pre-decorated it, and I don't know whether to maybe just find like a long quote like from Pinterest or like on Instagram or something and just do some writing on the reverse of this page, because I've kind of already decorated it, and looking at it, it's busy enough that I don't think I necessarily want to add like anything else to it. I think that might detract from what I've already done, and I certainly don't want to cover anything up, but it's just worked out really strangely. I think it's just the way that I came about doing the page that I ended up working on like both sides, because like normally when you think of like, okay, I'm going to work on like 2 pages in my journal, they're going to be like next to each other. And so I was almost working as how I normally do in the no-sew journals, where you get to work on those different pages that aren't necessarily together in a traditional journal, but they're also kind of 2 completely distinct like styles almost. Like I used some different colors, but they match at the same time. So I don't know, it was really strange, but I kind of enjoyed the way that I was working on it, and just being able to build up those 2 little collage clusters with all sorts of things. As you see, I also came in with some stamping because I wanted to have a way to sort of frame that blank space that I had on the tag, and thinking about where I would then maybe potentially add some text or some lettering, some writing to the tag, because I already knew that in the bottom left-hand corner, or no, the bottom right-hand corner, I wanted to have that be almost like the visual element of it, and then I didn't want anything else to clash. So I don't know what I was thinking with that orange botanical illustration there. Like, it was lovely, but that was never going to go with the page. So you see there, I cut it out, and then I was like, yeah, this doesn't match the page at all. So I continued with my vintage vibes that I had going on, and I'll end up using that in something else, but it's kind of a strange shape, so I'm not sure. That might suit more to something that's longer, I guess, or like wider, so I don't know. It looked better on the page. I'd ripped it out from a magazine that I got a while ago, and so that's why it was on my mind that I wanted to use it, but I think the colours were just too bold and bright for what we had going on with this page. So I'm also coming in here just with a bit of book text just to add some interest, I guess, to the back of the tag there. It was looking a little bit sparse. Like, I know I said I wanted that plainness of the brown paper, but I did feel like the more I looked at it, I did need to break it up slightly, so I did add that, but I didn't like completely cover it. So I think that added just enough. Like, I didn't want to mess too much because I had so much going on in that cluster with the tag. So I was trying to think, okay, if I've got everything going on the tag, then I don't want to have also a lot going on behind it as well. And that way then you've kind of got that blank space almost in the composition where I will tuck something in. So if I want to have the thing that's peeking out maybe have, in my mind I'm thinking like a little card that has a tab on it, and maybe it's like a scrappy collage or something. Maybe it's, I don't know, if you have any ideas for what you think I should include as the little tuck spot addition, or let me know, like, what do you include in your journals if you include pockets and tuck spots and things like this? Like, what do you keep inside them? Because I feel like there's so many different things that we can keep within these interactive elements that we include in our journals. So let us know down below in the comments, and let's share some ideas of the things that we can hoard and the papers that we can collect. Not that any of us need any more papers, no doubt, but you know, it's always good to share the different things. I love to collect like little quotes, and sometimes if I've got like extra photos that I've printed out, I'll include them, or notes from people, or postcards as well if the pocket or the tuck spot's large enough. That's always fun. And using things like paper clips and other things like that are really handy if you just want to like secure something into a tuck spot, but you still want to be able to see it, and you also don't want it to fall out of your journal. That's something that I've done in the past as well, to make sure that things stay where they are supposed to within my junk journal. But as you can see here, I'm coming in with some lettering. So I'm using my trusty Tombow marker, and I just lettered out little moments because, I don't know, it was a phrase I thought that might fit well on this little tag here, and it just fits perfectly. And you can see there just the little tuck spot that I've created, that I need to then make something to go inside of this. But that is my finished page for tuck spot. I hope you enjoyed journaling along with me, and I will see you in the next one.